story. Okay. All right, buckle in. I do, yeah. Okay. There was a young man called Sam Hudson. Sam is a student of sorts. My understanding is 25 years old. I do not know Sam from a bar of soap, or didn't, until Sam started posting stuff on social media, and he's got an outfit called something, I'm not going to give you the name, said he was a journalist or whatever. Sam started asking questions, or had been floating around in my very peripheral of my social media consciousness for a while. I didn't have any opinion about Sam or his politics or what sort of person he was, except I know that he had some sort of loose association with a guy called Joe Trinder, who was some sort of troll, some sort of left-wing troll. He may have had an association with Matt Tukaki. But this guy, Sam Hudson, was... and look, I'm going to... Full disclosure, actually, and I would have been happy to tell the journalists and stuff this. When I interviewed the man who compiled the Benjamin Bussy Doyle dossier that has disgusted and outraged so many of you, even though the mainstream media don't cover the story, he wanted to be anonymous to come on the show. His name was Rhys Williams, as we now all know. And Rhys said, oh, can you disguise my voice? Well, we don't have the technology to really disguise a voice here. So I said, well, we can't really do that. He said, well, I've been on your show before. And at this stage, I didn't know who he was, really. And then I realised who it was. And he said, you've interviewed me twice about an inflection point conference in Wellington, at the Wellington Conference Centre. He said, if you could take those interviews down, it'll be harder for people to work out who I am. Now, I'll be brutally frank, Rhys, and you probably know this. I knew that wasn't going to make a damn bit of difference. People would figure out who you were. So I took them down for a few days and I put them back up so that you'd come on to the program and we'd have the interview. Fine. And they went back up. No conspiracy there, just me doing my job. Sam Hudson jumped onto this and suggested on his online postings that it was some sort of conspiracy or some skullduggery. I didn't really care what Sam Hudson, this 25-year-old so-called student, thought, so I kind of ignored him, and I didn't think it was a big deal at all. And, of course, Rhys Williams, his identity was revealed. We put the interviews back up, and it was all out in the open. There was no skullduggery, no money changed hands. There was no coordinated campaign. That's just what happened. But Sam Hudson kept on going and writing stranger and stranger things about the platform and just kind of throwing shade. I reached out to Sam Hudson last week or the week before. I said, give me a ring. I'll explain to you how journalism works. And I got this incredibly paranoid message back from him, how he wanted to know a list of questions and everything. And it wasn't like I was that interested in Sam. I was just going to give him a little bit of heads up as a young man who clearly had no frickin' idea what he was doing. So I didn't respond to Sam. And Sam Hudson, who I understand has caused some real problems up on the Kapiti Coast where he lives, nearly got himself beaten with a hammer and interfering in emergency scenes as a citizen journalist and making a complete dick of himself. But put that to one side. I then hear from someone who sends me a dossier on Sam Hudson, who says, are you aware that he's being mean about you online? I don't care. Sam Hudson is a minnow, a non-playing character in the drama of life. And to be honest, my assessment was that Sam might not have been entirely mentally well. And I get trolled by all sorts of people, so I don't care. But someone sent me a number of links about Sam's activities online, and Sam seemed to be quite heavily involved in protecting or making excuses for Benjamin Bussy Doyle, the Green MP. I then find, and I am sent a series of links that so Sam Hudson, and please brace yourself for this, and just hold on. Porn channels, videos from porn channels in which Sam Hudson, is seen pleasuring himself, and I'll give you an example, and I'm trying to put this as nicely as possible, pleasuring himself onto a Big Mac and then eating it in a public place. And also pleasuring himself in the bussy with a carrot. And this stuff posted to commercial porn sites. Now, that may not be illegal, and this was the not illegal, questionable activity that Andrea Vance and Charlie Mitchell referred to. I don't know why they just didn't say it. That's what this young man called Sam Hudson has been doing. I was sent this and I looked at it and I thought that is not really of much public interest. And I really didn't want to have anything to do with it. It made me feel rather unclean and awful. But I did, when Sam next had a crack at me online, I simply posted the question, Sam, do you like carrots? So at least he would be aware that people were aware of his strange behaviours. That is the comment that got me into the Sunday Star Times newspaper as part of a conspiracy of dirty politics and murky doings. So there is the whole story laid out bare. There is what Andrea Vance and Charlie Mitchell don't want you to know about their friend Sam Hudson, who for some reason was given anonymity. I suppose for the same reason that I was prepared to give Rhys Williams anonymity, which lasted all of 2 days. So Sam Hudson is the name of the young man that it seems to me Charlie Mitchell and Andrea Vance are somehow trying to paint as a victim. A young man who has performed disgusting and lewd acts in public places, and posted them on the internet to make money off and on pornography sites. That is who Stuff went in to bat for on Sunday when they defamed me and wrote a fantastic and completely concocted story about some sort of conspiracy. I wonder if editor Tracy Watkins was aware of all those details when she allowed that story to be published. And I stand by my comment that I practice journalism and always have for 40 years to the highest possible ethical standards. I am not part of a conspiracy. I am not part of any murky world, except journalism in itself can be murky, as Andrea Vance well knows. I am not part of dirty politics. I do not take money for stories, and I do not make deals with the devil. I do not go on porn sites and do disgusting things in public. I do not publish pictures of children with reference to boys' bottoms. And that's why I will be talking to my lawyer later today. Thank you.